Ladies and gentlemen, members of the Global Collective, brothers and sisters across nations, cultures, and walks of life. Tonight, we gather not in celebration, but in awareness. Not in fear, but in clarity. Because there is something happening in this world, quietly, subtly, and in many cases, invisibly. A war, not on land, not in the skies, but within the human mind. And unlike traditional wars, this one does not announce itself. It does not wear a uniform. It does not march in formation. It whispers. Since as early as the late 2010s, with the rapid rise of digital ecosystems, online communities, and decentralized networks, there has been an emergence of groups, circles, and ideologies that do not seek to empower individuals, but to influence, reshape, and in some cases, break them. These groups do not appear dangerous at first. In fact, they often appear inviting, welcoming, even enlightening. They say, "You've been overlooked, but we see you. You've been misunderstood, but we understand you. You've been held back, but we can elevate you." And for someone who felt unseen, that message can feel like truth. There was a woman, quiet, thoughtful, deeply observant. She had always felt like she didn't quite fit into the world around her. One day, she found an online community. At first, it felt like home. People listened. People responded. People validated her thoughts in ways no one else had. But slowly, things began to shift. The conversations became more intense. The ideas became more extreme. They began to tell her, "The world is against you. Only we understand the truth. You must detach from those who don't align." And what began as connection became isolation. What began as support became dependency. What began as identity became control. Another story. There was a man, ambitious, determined, hungry for success. He was approached, digitally, by a group that claimed to have access to hidden knowledge, accelerated pathways to wealth, elite-level insight. They told him, "You can bypass the struggle. You can rise faster than anyone else. You just have to trust the process." But the process required sacrifice, not discipline, but detachment from reality. They asked him to ignore trusted voices, follow instructions without question, commit fully without understanding the consequences. And when his life began to destabilize, when finances declined, when relationships fractured, they told him, "This is transformation. This is necessary." No, that is not transformation. That is manipulation disguised as growth. There are also real, documented cases across the world where individuals are encouraged to reject their identity, disassociate from reality, fragment from sense of self, under the false belief that you must be broken down to be rebuilt. But let this be understood, globally, universally, without confusion. You do not need to be destroyed to become powerful. You do not need to lose yourself to find your purpose. This is no longer isolated. This is not one group or one ideology or one region. This is a pattern of behavior enabled by technology, anonymity, psychological targeting, and the speed of global communication. One message can reach millions. One manipulative idea can spread across continents overnight. One vulnerable moment can be intercepted, exploited, and redirected. Understand this clearly. This is not about platforms. This is not about trends. This is about influence over the human mind. Because once someone influences how you think, they influence how you see. And once they influence how you see, they influence how you choose. And once they influence your choices, they influence your life. That is the real objective. Every manipulative system, no matter how complex, relies on the same foundation: a promise. Promise of fame, promise of wealth, promise of power, promise of belonging. But those promises are rarely fulfilled because they were never meant to be fulfilled. They were meant to draw you in. There are signs, and they are consistent. If you ever found yourself in an environment where you are told to disconnect from those you care about, who care about you, you are pressured to act against your well-being, you're promised rewards in exchange for loyalty or sacrifice, you are discouraged from questioning authority. That is not guidance. That is control. Next story. There is an individual deeply embedded in one of these environments. For months, they followed every instruction. They trusted every voice. They believed every promise. Until one day, they stepped back, just for a moment, and they asked a simple question. Is my life improving or declining? And in that moment, they saw the truth. Awareness is the beginning of freedom. The moment you recognize manipulation, it weakens. The moment you question it, it cracks. The moment you step away, it loses its hold. If you encounter any system, online or offline, that compromises your mental stability, encourages harm, promises unrealistic rewards, demands blind loyalty, you must step away immediately. Disconnect from the source, reconnect with reality. Reach out to trusted individuals, supported systems, and professionals. There is strength in choosing yourself. This message is not for one group, by the way. It is not for one region. It is for everyone, the Chosen Collective, Global Collective combined. Because in this era, anyone can be targeted. Anyone can be influenced. Anyone can be pulled into something they did not fully understand. We are entering a new age, an age where information is everywhere, but truth must be chosen. Protect your mind. Protect your identity. Protect your life. Because no promise, no illusion, no voice is worth your stability, your clarity, or your existence. Stand aware, stand grounded, and never surrender your mind to anything that seeks to control it. Ashe.
The shift has begun. Alignment is no longer optional.
There comes a moment when presence alone shifts the world.
Harmony, compassion, justice, not ideals, the foundation of what comes next.
Your homes were taken in silence, through deception, through lies. But what was taken will be returned. When it returns, it brings life back with it. Know your rights. Reclaim your home. Learn how.
That system is over. No crowds, no noise, no influence. Everything
Is declining, but humanity's search for God is rising. This is not the end. This is the beginning of cosmic governance. A structure becomes a planet becomes a network, and that network becomes the conscience of our species. We build paths for those who will follow.